What we're going to do is we're going to check out this barn right here. This looks like a pretty old one. It could be pre-Civil War. Never been in it, so I'm not sure exactly how it's built. But the style is it's what's called a bank barn. And that's where they would build the barn into a bank or a hillside so that they could just drive the wagons right inside to offload the hay or the grain or whatever they had. And underneath is where they would keep the animals. This is an old apple orchard, and you can see there's a bunch of little crates here. And these are apple crates here. And they're all rotted, so you know they've been gone quite a while. But this is the ramp that they would build. A lot of Germans settled in this area, and I think this is a German design. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure. Or the Pennsylvania Dutch, which is actually the Pennsylvania Deutsch. Deutsch is German, and the Americans just kind of corrupted it into Dutch. Has nothing to do with Dutch. Look at this. I don't think we're going to be going. Hey, don't be careful, man.
Oh, I'm just showing.
Yeah, look. Yeah, so they could drive their wagons and the horse teams right up on here.
Unload hay.
Unload hay. These would be the hay mow to the left, hay mow to the right. Normally, there would be grain bins over here, although this one doesn't seem to have grain bins on the right and left. And down below is where they would keep the animals. And we're going to go check that out in a minute. You
can see over here where they like probably shoved hay in and it dropped down.
Oh yeah, that's different. I've not seen that. That might have been the grain bins over there. Where I grew up had a barn almost exactly like this, almost identical. Where they had big ladders going up the side, and we could climb up all the way to the very top. That has ladders up there. You jump down into the hay mow. That was a lot of fun. I missed that. There are steps. Well, there used to be steps here, but we're not going to go down that way. I think that'd be a little bit shaky. What do you think? Not too shaky for us, John?
No, I wouldn't go on that wood.
Well, let's go walk around the other side where the animals were kept.
Piece of iron bolted to
Yeah, that's an old one.
That's cool.
Look at some iron here. All right, let's go down. You can see it's all put together with pegs and stuff, so that date's pretty old. So we're going to walk around to the bottom here. We're going to be very careful not to step on any boards with nails in them, right, John?
Right.
Especially these old apple crates. Typical outbuildings. This is probably, this is a corn crib here. Quite different than the corn crib that you saw in one of my last videos where I went to the lime kilns. That was kind of like a modern corn crib that had the wire. This is the old-fashioned kind. I'll show you what they look like and why they look like that. Walk around to the front here, just to give you a better idea. Right in here, you could take your wagons. You bring your wagons right in like this, and the corn would go into the sides. And they usually had it open like that, so they had good ventilation, and the corn could stay, would stay dry and dry out. Same way on the other side there. Ooh, looky, a skull. Is that human? That's not even a skull, is it? That's a backbone. Or a pelvis, I guess. Probably. Oh, that's a bird, look. Probably a goose. I think it's a goose. We'll just look around here for a couple minutes, see what we can see. See where an animal has been going in and out right here. You can see how it's kind of scalloped out just a little bit. Everything's built with round nails, so we know that's going to post-date 1880 or so. I want to go see the barn. Let's go see the barn. Prior to 1880, most of the nails you'll find are square, but they invented a machine that could roll wire really thin, so they could make long lines of wire and just chop for nails. And again, that was like 1880 or so, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Huh?
Chicken coop, you see the chicken wire over the window.
Oh yeah, see the chicken wire. I thought I saw, hey, there's a date here, 1948. Let's look at that. SCS, 1948. That's when they poured this concrete. Yeah. And when I was a kid, I went to school with a girl that lived here, one of these houses. Her last name was Stuckey, so I have a feeling that was Stuckey for the S. Nicole Stuckey. Hello, Nicole, if you're still out there. Haven't seen you since we graduated, I don't think. All right, this is the inside. You can see some mud dauber. Oh, mud dauber. That's a big mud dauber. That's a barn swallow nest. And this is the barn.
Here's a bark loom log.
Yeah, you can see how that's all hand done. That's actually sawed there.
Yeah.
And this is where they would put the hay for the cows and the horses. They'd put it in here.
This was a cow barn.
Cow barn. And of course, that's where he came down from up top. Beautiful old logs. Unfortunately, I'm sure this will be bulldozed in the next few years. They're going to put a subdivision in here.
Notice the logs over here, the joists are round log, part round logs.
Yeah. This is almost identical to the type of barn where I grew up. And one of the first treasures I ever found was in the corner of the barn, just like that. Now, this was a stone wall in the barn I grew up in, or near. And there was an old bottle. It was a Old Henry Rye. It was a whiskey bottle, and it still had the, well, I think it was embossed. Beautiful bottle, like, you know, mid to late-ish 1800s. And I always figured that the old farmer, probably that's where he hid his booze, so the wife wouldn't find it. But that was one of the very first treasures I ever found. That would have been around, you know, in the early 1970, 1971.
Look at the size of this.
So there's a big beam.
Run.
Yeah.
Look at the dimensions.
Wow, it is. I hope they salvage.
Here.
Yeah, I hope they salvage these things before they
rot.
Yeah, before they rot and before they put the subdivision in.
Looks like a joint
this is all new
that
here.
goes there.
This is part of a saddle or some type of a harness, right there. Whenever you're on an old farm like this, always look at the chains, because the farmers had a tendency to use these chains that had a U.S. marked on it. And that was post-Civil War, but it was a surplus that apparently was made available to a lot of the farmers. And it might be like Spanish-American War, in 1900 or so. But there'll be a piece of the chain that'll have U.S. stamped on it. That's always kind of neat to find. You see them all the time. Again, this is where they would feed the animals. The trough would be for grains. And feeding oats or whatever we put in there. This is for the hay. Lots of animals lived out their lives in here. Beasts of burden. A lot of barns full of this. You can see them up in here. If we were here in the summertime, they'd be dive bombing us and squeaking and making all kinds of noises. Yeah. What'd you find?
Look at the
That's
pins
beautiful. That's
and the
beautiful.
joint.
Look at that. That's all wood. All wood pins. See how the joint's cut there? I wonder what kind of wood that is. Looks like chestnut. I think that's chestnut. Chestnuts were really big in this area. They were mostly cut and died out by the turn of the century. Very sad to see these old gals go, but they go. Not many people farm anymore like this.
Here's some evidence of electric. There's a box here, a light outlet up there.
Yeah. That's pretty old, isn't it? Fairly old,
Yeah.
you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not up on that stuff, but you can see it's definitely had electricity. Robinson's Cold Storage. They were, that's where they would take their fruit, apples and stuff. That's Winchester, Virginia. I think there was one in Myers. I think there was one in Charlestown too, if I remember. I think it was Robinson's. Dr. W.D. Myers. Wow. Too bad they're in such bad shape. Some have a weird cage there. Not sure what that was. Some bird, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. It's odd to see that. I guess they must have faced over the stone that was there, because there's no way that was concrete originally.
That on top looks like old concrete. So did the outside walls, but this lower stuff looks different.
It does look like it might be stone.
That may be stone.
That's been faced. Yeah, it must be, because that concrete.
That would go with these hand-hewn logs.
Yeah. I'm in my element over here. What's this all about? Some type of thing.
Rabbit or
Well, actually, when I came over here, what I was thinking is this is where they did their milking, probably. The cows would be put in here to feed. This is all added. This is different. I mean, this is post that, but with the concrete, and this is where all the manure and stuff would gather down here, and they could right out the door. I suspect this is the milking part of the barn from back in the day. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Do you think I'm wrong, John?
Well, it's either milking or it was beef cattle.
Beef cattle.
Then you wouldn't have to milk.
Milk. No, they had to milk. Everybody milked. Everybody had milk cows. Look at that giant vine. You know what that is? Do you? Do you, John?
That's a grapevine.
Yeah, it's a grapevine. Wild grapes.
You can see the barn is leaning
Yeah, look at that.
to the east. You can see it, all the posts lean that
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to be in here when the wind's blowing.
No.
See any bats?
No.
No bats. Too cold for bats in the wintertime.
We're too open.
Too open. Oh! Multi-floor rows. I've showed you that 100 times in my videos, and that just stuck in my butt. But yeah, that's part of the drainage system for the cow pee and stuff that come out, so it doesn't collect where they're milking.
Lines in this.
Yeah, it's for traction, so they don't slip.
Or most of it was smooth.
All right, what do you think about that little adventure? Was that fun? I had a good time. We should come back at night. You want to come back at night? See if there's ghosts, like cow ghosts in here? What do you think? No cow ghosts? No cow ghosts.
That'd be a real movement.
Uh-oh, guess what I just discovered? What do we have here? That's a dig hole. Somebody's been metal detecting in here. See the shovel cuts?
Yeah.
They're smooth. Someone cut to go metal detecting. Mm-hmm. They beat old Bo to it. All right. Say adios to the barn. Adios.